I have a great idea, but I'll never do it. It might happen. Sure, the monkeys might fly out of my butt. I don't think so.
I don't see it happening.
Hey everyone, it's me, Jon.
And me, Louise.
And you're listening to the greatest podcast about all the amazing ideas that we have that we'll never do. I have a great idea, but I'll never do it.
Yay!
You got here somehow, so you know what it's called. What's going on, Louise? How you doing?
I'm doing really great. I just got back from a doggy play date with about 35 Boston Terriers.
Holy crap.
There's a lot of them. Now
That's a lot of BTs.
That's right. We went to Long Island City for this one.
LIC.
And the dog played so hard that he had to take a sidewalk nap before getting back on the subway.
I know that we don't typically, there's no typically
talk about our
with this.
dogs.
No, it's not that. It's just like jump into the ideas right away, but kind of segues perfectly into one of my ideas.
Oh my gosh, okay.
All right. Anybody who listens to the show frequently knows that a lot of our ideas are about dogs. For good reason. They're incredible, and we live with some really good ones. So my idea... Oh, and we both live in cities where we probably see hundreds of dogs any given week, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So my first idea is actually a dog spotting journal. So it's anybody who might have seen our previous guest Scott Wiener's pizza journals will see that there's like different things to put in on each page where it's like I don't even know what's on them, but like I don't know, crust density and stuff like that,
or like
toppings.
Yeah.
So like you see a cool dog, you whip out your little journal and you describe the dog. There's a space to write in like what you would name it, space to write in like what its actual name is, place where you can draw a picture of it. Exactly. So yeah, and I looked around, I didn't find any.
You know what this would be cool too? A space for the owner's name, because I know about 20 dogs in my neighborhood. I don't know any of the owner's names. I'm like, oh, there's Lucy. Oh, there's Hazel. I have no idea what their owner's names are.
Yeah, that would be
so you could like meet up with them, learn the owner's name, write it down, and like maybe study it.
Right. And then, contact information, in case maybe you see the dog running loose or you just want to get together for a dog party. Yeah,
or somebody's going away for the weekend and they're like, I wish we could bring our dog. Who can we get to be a dog sitter, though, instead of the kennel?
And you're just like, I know that Roland gets along great with Hazel's dad.
It's true. That is actually, like, eerily true.
So I guess Hazel's got a pretty solid human?
Absolutely. Hazel is a staffy, and she's beautiful and super strong, and she sounds like she will rip your face off. She's the sweetest. She just makes these really snarly noises, and it makes a lot of people really nervous. And I always feel so bad for her because I'm like, I know you're such a sweetheart. And, of course, my dog's such a jerk. He's like, I'll play with you. Like, I'm not scared. And so they always get very excited when we come to the park. But you could even write down, like, makes really snarly noises, but is a total sweetheart.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my first idea.
Dog journals. I love it.
Why don't they already exist?
I know. I think it's because maybe most people are trying to be paperless as much as possible. But I got to tell you, pen to paper feels really good to me.
I mean, it could also be an app, but whatever.
Yeah. You and I, we've talked about apps.
We've gone through app territory, and they're hard to make.
Yeah. Back to basics.
To make journals, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. Back to basics.
Back to basics, peoples.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Louise, you had your show recently, your performance.
I did.
Anything you want to talk about on the podcast about it?
Sure. I am not married. And you had sort of a non-traditional number of events for your wedding in that there were multiple locations, and instead of everybody traveling to you guys for one thing, you guys went around to like clusters of your people so that nobody would have to travel, which was really awesome. The thing, why I talk about this, why I bring this up, is that the thing that I did not anticipate about doing a solo show is that almost everybody there knows you and loves you and wants to say hello to you after. So like I, in my head, was like, oh, I'm doing a show, and when it's over, I'll pack up my stuff and I'll meet everybody. No, it was like a wedding receiving line where I was like, oh my God, and you're here. Oh my God, and you're here. Oh my God, thank you for coming. Oh my God. And I was like having a little bit of a breakdown inside while I was being so grateful because I felt this constant guilt about saying hello and thank you to somebody and having these other people wait because you could tell they wanted to also like exit. It was a school night. It was on a Monday.
Right.
But it was just like this weird feeling that I didn't anticipate. And I was like, oh my God, if I ever get married, we're not doing that.
Right.
Like, just not going to happen because
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Yes. So that wasn't really about my show, but about the experience of my show. The other parts of it were you can't plan for everything, but you do as much as you can.
Sure.
I was like feeling really high energy, full of adrenaline and talking really fast and like sort of feeling self-conscious about how fast I was talking. And I think Chris had said to me like, but do any of the people here know a version of Louise that talks slow? And I was like, no. Okay, you're right. Okay, I feel comfortable again.
Right.
But it was overall, for the amount of stress and anguish I felt over it, a really, really amazing experience.
Good.
I was really, really happy and proud of a lot of parts. And I felt it's been a really long time since I've performed in that kind of forum. And it was my first ever solo thing. And I feel like I really love it.
That's great.
I don't think I love doing a solo show. So next time I'm definitely going to have to like invite more people to do things with me. But I felt really happy, even through like hiccups. And I feel like a lot of performers, people that I know, people that I don't know, just like things I've seen, like you can really, really tell when they're having a panicked moment about something not going the way they rehearsed it.
Of course.
And I feel like sometimes when that's happening to me, I'm like, ooh, that's new. Specifically, I sang a Disney princess song. I sang a song from Frozen, not Let It Go. And then later in the concert, I sang a jazz tune. It was a jazzified version of a Broadway standard. And during the end, because Chris played piano for me, he did a little melodic callback to the Disney song. And I was like, oh, I like that. It was like really like a cool surprise. And
he just surprised you by doing that?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then there was another song that I sang where he did this like psycho plink really in the upper register of the piano. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like
You know, I'm a little surprised that he improvised like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was cool. It was cool. And I mean, there were things, because not every moment of it was perfect for me either. And I felt like as a performer and knowing other performers, they would be like,
yeah.
like, how do I go on? How do I move on? And I was just like, well, that's over. Anyway. So.
No, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did the process of creating this performance and actually performing itself, did it spark any fresh ideas?
I I mean, I don't know if they're super fresh or if they've always been there and it's just like the logistics of doing them. Mm-hmm. For instance, I played my trumpet.
Right.
And I haven't played my trumpet in a very long time. I will say it this way. Chris said, your trumpet could have had sex and like been old enough to drink in the amount of time that you haven't played it.
Right. Like, oh man.
Yeah. So a long time. And in the process of like getting it out and putting the mouthpiece to my lips and practicing the music, I was like, I want to do this. Like, I want to have a low stakes, like, community band or like ensemble where I can, because I guess any day I could just whip out my trumpet and play it. Mm-hmm. But it's like a group of people getting together to read the music, and like, we don't have to perform. We don't even have to be that good. Like, you don't even have to audition to be in the group. But it's weird. I like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'll just put like flyers on telephone poles around the city or lampposts and be like, be in our community band.
Sure.
But then I'm like, you could get some real weirdos.
Oh, for sure.
And like, where would you rehearse? Like, you'd need a church basement or something, like, free. But that was kind of the idea. I was like, I wish there was a group of people that I could just get together with and play music. Mm-hmm. Because it's just fun. Yeah. But not in a, like, I'm in a band kind of way. Just like, yeah. So that was kind of an idea. Like, a weird free, like, you don't get paid to be there. It's volunteer. You don't do shows. You just get together and play music. Community
just
band.
Have fun with each other. Yeah, back in a previous life, I would get together with this group of people and play bluegrass songs on like a rooftop in Philadelphia. And for some reason, I played mandolin. I didn't play mandolin, but I was capable enough to like pretend.
Jam.
Yeah. And it was just
fun,
like
right?
fun. However, trumpets are louder than a lot of things.
Trumpets are louder. Part of the reason I picked it, it's funny, people often see me, and I'm so, like, tiny and, like, float around, and they're like, do you play the flute? Do you play the piccolo? And I'm like, I play the trumpet.
Yeah.
Like, people never guess, like, if they had to guess what instrument I played.
Sure.
But I play it because it's loud, and it says, hey,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
here.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think community band idea, which isn't really new.
It's probably a lot easier to pull off. Well, if you're in an urban area, then you probably have more people who are musicians concentrated. If you're in a more rural area, you have more space in which to practice.
Right.
And like maybe even just like a field or a backyard where like no one's around, no one cares.
Right.
But yeah, in a city, it's a little bit harder to kind of pull that off.
Yeah.
Unless you have an inn at a church basement.
Right. A school cafeteria.
Ooh, a gym-a-cafetorium?
Yes. Because I was going to say, like, oh, like at a park or something, but then you got to worry about weather. Can't be bringing mandolins and trumpets out in the rain.
Sure. And right. And also then it's like permits, because then what constitutes like a performance?
Oh.
It's just dicey.
You're the brains. Yeah. I didn't even think about
that.
that.
I've just had to deal with like getting permits for stuff in parks, and it's not easy or fun, and nobody wants you to be able to do stuff. They make you jump through hoops. No,
those people are naysayers.
Yeah, they say nay unless you have a permit. And even when you want to get one, they're just like, maybe nay. I don't know.
The naysayers would be a really good community band name, though.
Yeah, or just like a group of people who want to vent about things, perhaps on a podcast called Uproar. That would be the listeners. They'd be the naysayers.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
still kicking around that idea. I don't know. It's a lot of work. I'm trying to see if I have any ideas that kind of springboard off of that.
I have an idea. It doesn't springboard though. So
bring it on.
Okay. You know how when it's cloudy and overcast,
I do.
You go outside, you're totally fine. Some days the sun is beating down and you need to put on some shades.
Right.
Same thing, olfactory. Let me expand on this. We need nasal sunglasses because sometimes you ride the subway and it's fine. And other times you ride the subway and it is stinky. Or you go to a place that is small and someone has, silent but deadly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so you gotta have.
Or loud but deadly.
Deadly either way. So, inconspicuous, nostril sunglasses so that, it can look cool, like a fashion statement, but protect you from discomfort in that way. Well, I don't have a name. It's just an idea.
Right now, I'm looking through my idea list because I thought that I had something. Maybe not. But I feel like we've talked about something in the past about something to like.
Oh, the cups that smell so make your water taste like not like juice, but it's just water.
Yes, but also I'm thinking about something from like a long time ago. Maybe this was pre-podcast, but like something that clips onto like your nostrils that has like good aromas that block out the bad ones. Oh,
lavender.
Yeah. You name it. Anything
Peppermint.
You like.
Yeah.
Anything you like. But yeah, that is necessary, especially living in those cities. A lot of people.
As it
in a
starts
small
to get
space.
warmer.
That's right. It's all happening.
Or if you're a podiatrist, you might need it.
That's very true.
Or a dentist, because they're like up in there.
They are all up in there. And some people got some rank breath.
Yes. So that was...
Yeah.
I was trying to think.
Instead of blocking out UV rays like sunglasses, it's blocking out PU rays.
Oh! I love it. That was really good.
Man, we should just end this right now.
It's been so fun, you guys.
Yeah, that's it. Podcast
304-804 idea.
304-804 idea. If you have any ideas to springboard off of the PU ray blocking nose plugs, then we want to hear it. I have. Okay, this is kind of similar to that, but this is more of a cosmetic thing. This is a clip-on type of apparatus that you would use if maybe you are going through a lifestyle change, or you've realized that you've maybe made a mistake by, let's say you are a lady, because typically ladies do this, and, shaving armpits has always, not always, but in the past, however long, has been a real thing. And nowadays, people are being like, you know what? To hell with that. I'm going to be free. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to, not shave my armpits because whatever. You're not going to tell me what to do, the man.
Right.
But maybe like you're the kind of woman who has had them had it lasered off or something, or it's just like you're unable to grow it for whatever reason, over chemicalizing yourself. That's a word. And it's a thing that you clip on to, maybe if you're wearing a bra, it'll clip onto the bra, and it's like a little armpit hair wig. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was even trying to think because a lot of people overpluck their eyebrows.
Ooh.
And now that like a fuller brow is back.
It's in, baby.
It's back in. There's this thing. Have you ever heard of microblading?
Microblading? No.
Microblading. Okay, so it's a procedure that you do. It's kind of like a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
But it's with a little like blade so that it doesn't go as far into your skin.
Got it.
As tattoo ink goes. And they're like tiny little slits, like individually like hair.
Weird.
And it's permanent in the way that a tattoo is, but less so because it's not as deep into your dermis. Obviously, the clip-on is a lot easier to handle and probably super easy to maintain. You just unclip it, wash it, hang it to dry, clip it back in. Like,
yeah,
that
and,
seems great.
Different colors.
Different colors.
Different textures.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or maybe it's just like a cold winter and you need a little bit more warmth. I don't know. Maybe that'll help. I'm not
maybe
a doctor.
It will.
What do I look like? A doctor?
What do I look like?
You look like a doctor.
Oh.
Of ideas. Oh no!
The doctor is in.
If you are a
Deep,
doctor
deep
of ideas, call 304-804-IDEA and leave us a voicemail. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while.
You know what I
miss
was
you.
thinking?
What's up?
Here's an idea for us and the pod.
Mm-hmm.
What if we didn't wait for people to call the hotline? What if, live on the cast, we ambushed people that we know for an idea? Like, instead of them calling us, like, we call them and say, like, hey, you're live on the pod. What great ideas have you had?
That's a
You're
pretty
on the
good
spot.
idea. Just have to know that they're going to be around and answer the call.
Right.
We'll figure it out. We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
Why not? If any of you have ideas for us about this podcast, call 304-804-IDEA or send us an email, greatideapod@gmail.com, tweet at us, whatever, post it on our Facebook thing, Great Idea Pod.
We'll take it into consideration.
Yeah.
No promises will actually really...
We are open to all ideas.
Except editing.
Biff.
We're not going to do that.
No, never.
This is a long-form, free, artistic space.
You know, the second someone tells us what to do is the second I want to stop doing this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't go for that.
No can do.
No can do.
So, yeah, how else have the ideas been flowing for you?
I haven't had a ton of, like, extra space in my cranium with my show going on.
Sure.
I was trying to, it's not really a new idea. It would just be someone else's idea that I wish we could use. For instance, the Japanese, when I was in Japan, carry around these little hankies. And they're like little squares. They're really cute. Kawaii cloth hankies. And when you wash your hands in a public bathroom, then you take out your own little towel and you dry your hands and you put it away. Have we talked about this?
I think we might have. Keep going.
Either privately or on the podcast.
Who knows?
Who knows at this point? And so a lot of the public restrooms don't have like paper towels or dryer machines. I want that here. I want somebody like Beyonce or Obama or Justin Timberlake or, I mean, somebody, Stephen Fry, like to be like, I do this.
What a weird combo of people.
Like, I do this. You're cool if you do this. Oh, one of the Kardashians.
Anyone.
Like somebody who's going to get people to go, I'm going to do that.
Right.
Because I just want it.
Yeah.
Or a similar idea, which is not mine, but I like, is there's this company that I saw on the internet that collects used hotel soaps and then sanitizes them, grinds them down, and then makes them into like little tiny soap bricks and sends them to countries that have a problem with like illness that can be totally avoided with the use of soap.
I think we have talked about this on the podcast,
Oh.
but I'm okay with talking about it again.
Like for somebody had once told me they were thinking about opening a cold brew little shop in Mexico City, because I guess they're like cold brew hasn't hit Mexico City yet.
Okay.
So they just wanted to be ahead of the thing. And they said, I think what we're going to actually do is take the coffee grounds from our cold brew company and donate them to our friend who will somehow process the coffee grounds to make like spa scrubs or like, so it's like an upcycling of products. And I'm like, more of that. And I don't know what that idea would be.
Right.
But I'm in support of ideas like that.
Well, I mean, similarly to that, using coffee grounds in soil is just really good for plants, vegetable gardens and such.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like thinking of other ways. Daisy, chill out, dog. So, side note, we might be able to put this one on YouTube. We'll have to wait and see. But if you can see this, I am in a cabin right now at Mount Hood in beautiful Oregon, and it is an area that Daisy absolutely loves because of the wildlife outside and the occasional but infrequent dog that's walking by with their person, and all she wants to do is just go out there and harass them a little bit. So
that sounds like a perfect afternoon.
Right now there's just like mounds of snow everywhere, so her visibility is pretty low, but I think that I saw the reflection of somebody walking by with a dog, and I'm pretty sure that she caught wind of it. So she's getting a little antsy right now, but she's being real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a good girl.
But yeah, anyway, it's always a good idea to try to find ways to reduce waste and to reuse things, reuse the waste in a way that is gonna create something good.
Yeah.
Like body scrubs.
What else are we doing with those coffee grounds?
Nothing. Which actually kind of segues into the challenges from last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Did you think of anything for yours?
We are total professionals.
Well, the challenge that you gave me had to do with transporting compost.
Yes.
Which is kind of perfect. Oh man, I just saw a dog running outside and I'm like, oh no, Daisy's going to see that and go bonkers. Okay, so transporting compost, coffee grounds, a perfectly reasonable compost item to be bringing up. So you live in a city where they don't have public composting. You have to bring it to a facility. It's not public
point.
In that like you have it with regular trash pickup or anything like that. Yeah, you have to bring it somewhere and you just drop it off. And
I do.
Part of this you do, and part of this issue is that oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Part of this issue is that you have to travel there. It's not convenient, like right next door or anything, which could be really smelly if it was. So the smelliness of it is unpleasant to be bringing on, let's say, the subway or a bus.
For instance.
Right. I think that this kind of goes along with an an idea challenge that you had given me several episodes ago, which was backpacks, which is a backpack that's specially designed for hauling your compost. That'll have maybe a compostable liner in it, a removable compostable liner. That was really like my main idea, because you're going to have to transport it no matter what.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking of, which seems a little impractical and dicey and would probably rub people the wrong way, is compostable capsules that you put everything in and you shoot it in a t-shirt cannon over to the compost facility.
But fun.
So fun. But the odds of that going completely haywire are very high.
You could maybe even get like a carrier pigeon to come pick up a little tiny capsule.
A little pouch. It's just like they take one tea bag at a time.
Yeah. It's getting there, though.
I like that. Aside from the fact that we are using animals for our benefit, but
right.
That aside,
we have no shortage of pigeons in New York City, though.
That is true, but maybe let's talk about drones.
Let's talk about drones.
Let's talk about drones. Yeah.
Baby.
Maybe there's a way to like program in their destination, and that destination is the compost facility. Yeah. Pneumatic tubes is another one.
Pneumatic tubes. Oh my God. Bringing it back around to the subway.
Yeah. Vacuum tubes. Just like.
Because you know that, right? The very first subway was a pneumatic tube.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I would feel uncomfortable and unsafe in one of those.
Really?
I think so. But that's like the Hyperloop that everyone's talking about these days, where it's like, it's all magnets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, man. Science is bonkers.
Yeah.
I love it.
I often wonder about magnets and people with things inside their bodies helping them be alive.
Sure.
That could possibly be affected by that.
You have to wonder, though, if like those mechanisms, that stuff has to be taken into consideration, right? It has to be.
I just know that people, let's say, with a lot of, who've been in incredible accidents or have had transplants of some kind, or, if you've got a bar in your leg instead of a femur.
Yeah. Or
if you've got just like a ton of surgical mesh holding your stomach to get, like, do you feel a pull? I
imagine it'd have to be a really strong magnet, and
it's pulling a train.
Well, yeah, but in the Hyperloop, I'm sure that there's protection against those actual forces that are in play.
Yeah, I guess I am thinking
or else they'd be pretty crappy engineers.
Style. Like when you put the magnet on the ceiling and you pull Bugs Bunny across the floor.
Of course.
That's where my brain goes.
Well, of course. I mean, all of our brains are supposed to go to those cartoony Looney Tunes places, because if things are going to happen like that, we have to see that we've taken all necessary precautions to avoid that. Looney Tunes are living in a dystopia.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Falling off of cliffs and then somehow living to see the next day. What is going on there?
If Looney Tunes happened today, I think people would lose their minds. For instance,
I mean, all of the Wagner.
All of the Wagner. No, but you get like Elmer Fudd out there with this gun, or you get then like Daffy Duck's like Bill being shot off his face. Where like when they were happening the first time, we were all like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, well, now that the NRA is running our entire country,
people would lose their shit.
Yeah, things would go a little differently. Well, actually, maybe not, because that's telling people if you get shot in the face, your nose is just going to slide to the other side, and you just have to move it around.
Logic.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I forget what I challenged you to in the last episode.
Oh, concerts for
right.
vertically challenged.
The vertically
people.
challenged, yeah.
So, I had a couple of ideas. You know how you can get in an office chair and you can like flip the little lever under the chair to make it go down or up or whatever? Mm-hmm. One of those, but like a unicycle, but it just you bring it with you. It's got a little stand on it.
Uh-huh.
And you like hit it and it just like brings you up. So you can like balance on it. But it's a seat, or like an Apple box.
Right.
That has a little lift. So you can carry it in, it's empty or whatever. You set it down, you and it lifts you up a little. Mm-hmm. Or do you know what Kangoo is?
No, tell me.
Kangoo is this like cardio workout. Where,
that's why I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's about working out.
It's about working out. But it's like you have these like trampolines on each of your feet, like moon shoes.
Moon shoes by Nickelodeon.
But they're like trampolines. But they would lift you up like this much, which might be enough to see over the people. My third idea was like strap-on stilts. You know how when you break a leg and you have a problem and you need to use crutches?
Yes.
And there's that like little squishy nozzle on the bottom of your crutch so that you're not just like metal to cement.
Right.
You put that little squishy bit on a pole and strap it on your shoe.
Huh.
So that you can walk. I mean, even if it's only like 4 inches, 5 inches, sometimes that's a big deal.
You know what would be kind of cool? You all remember the Reebok pump sneaker, right? Where you had the little pump on the tongue that tightened the shoe with little like air pockets. So what if the sole of the shoe was on kind of like an accordion style situation and you pump it to kind of lift it up a little bit?
Yes.
And just gives you a little bit, a couple inches.
That is a really good idea.
I'm sorry, I totally stole your
no,
your
that's
challenge.
Okay, because
I was inspired
also,
by what you were talking about.
You could open it and then it would compress back down so that after the concert you didn't have to like carry the attachable bit in like a bag, or you didn't have to have the Apple box with you, or the stilt, or the trampoline shoe. You could just like let the air back out and walk around like a normal human again. Nobody would know.
That's right.
Oh my God,
Daisy's
I love
going
it.
nuts. She definitely saw something out there.
A raccoon.
Probably not a raccoon.
Oh.
Probably a
deer.
Dog.
A fawn.
It could have been a deer. Could have been a bear. Could have been a Sasquatch. We are in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we're only like 38 minutes in. We got some time. We only went to the challenges early because it just made sense.
It made sense.
I'm going to give you one more idea from my list. I had a very brain-heavy couple of weeks. All right. So this one I came up with the other night. I go to a lot of lectures and events, and there's a lot of different ways that people, I guess, kind of function when it comes to public speaking. And the most common thing, and a lot of you have probably heard it a ton if you're listening to podcasts all the time, we have probably been victims of this, but a lot of ums and uhs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And whenever I'm doing audio editing and I'm trying to remove people's uhs and ums, it's kind of funny because you can actually see on like the visual waveform what it looks like. So sometimes you don't even have to listen to it. You just see what it looks like when that person says, and and then you clip that out and you're good to go. So what if there is an implant chip that we can all have that is a filter that recognizes when we're saying or and it mutes us.
It's real time?
It's on like our vocal cords in real time. Yeah.
It's like auto-tuning, but for language.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that this is some like real sci-fi stuff right here, but it will be so incredible because there's nothing more distracting than when somebody's trying to give some sort of speech and they're just going, because that's all you're focusing on. You're not hearing what they're actually saying, or at least that's the way that I am. That's all I ever hear. So if it recognizes, maybe there's some sort of neurological thing that it taps into where it's kind of taking those filler syllables and just muting them. Because actually, if you look at somebody when they're doing that type of thing, if they're saying especially, it's not like they're really moving their mouth. You wouldn't even know that there's something not coming out. It would just like they're pausing, which is a lot less distracting than
Right. I wonder if too you could have a setting, because one thing that I do a lot, and I'll just say this because anybody in my family who listens is going to get a real kick out of it. My nickname growing up was like one of them from my Uncle Mark. He would always go, because I said it all the time. But I wonder if you could have like a little adjuster for different things that happen to be your thing.
Yeah,
You notice a lot, but I feel like I say like.
Like is a tough one because that's a real word that you would use in other ways. I just said it right there. It's impossible to do this without like making all those noises.
Right.
But if you're saying I like apples, then it could be like I apples.
Right. That one is harder.
But
what about something
I know
like
that I do,
you can stand under my umbrella, because it would try to cut it out.
Well, that's where I think that it would help to have kind of like the neurological tap in where it's saying, it's recognizing when you are putting in those filler syllables. And in that case, the word like would have a completely different impact. This is getting really sci-fi right now, and definitely impossible and not worth the money and time that it would take to actually develop this.
I mean, I'm not here to judge ideas. I'm just here to have them.
Well, another thing that could work is like a shock collar.
Yes, I was just going to say. Once upon a time, Chris sent me a link to this thing called Pavlok. Yeah, right. And it's a bracelet, and you can control it to either zap yourself from your phone, or somebody else can like log in with the credentials of your bracelet, and you can up the amount of shock that you get. But it's to just trigger your brain with like a negative reinforcement for breaking a habit that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be really effective for any type of person who gives a lot of speeches. To have that kind of training.
Yeah.
All right. So there's definitely ways to do it, but not the super sci-fi way that we're talking about here. Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, do you have any last ideas you want to talk about? I know you've had a pretty busy couple of weeks with your show and everything, so I understand if you haven't been writing down all sorts of ideas.
Most of the ideas I was coming up with were in response to an actual problem that I had with my show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
what?
I just did like a pause, and then caught myself and got discouraged by it.
It's in your head now.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if there's no more...
Yeah, I can't think of anything right offhand.
That's totally cool. So what challenge do you have for me for the next episode?
Okay, so your challenge, as the summer is upon us, hammocks.
Hammocks. I like it.
That's right.
I like it. Ooh, I'm wondering if I want to like shift gears and also give you a summer is approaching type of thing, even though it's like just barely spring.
Well, it's really crazy. Earlier this week, I think it was 41, and today it's 80.
You kidding me?
I have this tank top on. It's hot. If you check my Instagram, everybody, Spin Pixie on Instagram, I said I brought my dog to the dog park and he had to take a nap on the sidewalk before getting on the subway. He was so tired.
I love that guy. He's the best.
He's so good.
All right. Well, then, if we're talking about summer, have we ever talked about ideas about sweat solutions?
I don't know.
Well, then we will in the next episode. All that's right. A challenge, Louise. Sweat Solutions by Louise.
That's right. Can't wait.
Cool. So thanks, everybody, for listening. And yeah, this is always so much fun. And Louise and I get to hang out with each other. And you all get to listen in. And we really appreciate that you actually do listen to it, which is pretty cool. So get involved. You know the number. It's 304-804-IDEA. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Yeah. Or maybe we're going to call you.
Yeah, come to us so we don't have to surprise you.
We can just like find a phone book, open up to a random page, call a random number, and it might be you.
The hardest part of that will be finding a phone book.
Yes. Wish us luck with finding a phone book. But we might call you. So anyway, thanks for listening. And Louise, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for hanging out with me.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I don't see it happening.